Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, or gentlemen, because our lady viewers are 0%. We have at least one.
I think there might be two.
Does your wife watch?
No.
So we have at least one.
But first off, thank you so much for all the comments that we've received recently, for just watching in general. That's always nice, so that we know that we're not sitting here twiddling. If you're new to the channel, basically what we do is we cover and we slay the meta in Warhammer.
Sometimes we talk about current affairs and news and events. Sometimes we break armies open. And sometimes we just talk about the armies that are performing the best.
So Jay, what are we talking about today?
Lumineth. That's what we're talking about. We've had a book for about a year. And
A little shy of a year.
Yep. Just before the old lockdown.
Yep.
So lots of us got to play a lot of games with our... Oh. This goes back to the WTF moment, brought to you by Metaslayers.
So who are Lumineth? Who are the Lumineth Realm Lords? Jay?
High elves. Not hello elves, but high elves from fantasy. It's effectively what they are. Lots of bows and arrows. Lots of spellcasting. Very quick to attack.
The army in general, fantastic. I love the fact that they brought out high elves when there was no indication that high elves were ever going to come back. Model range is great. Sculpts are just phenomenal.
Except for the hats. Nobody likes the hats. We get it.
I don't mind the hats.
It's got a moo cow on there. Alright.
But who are they? Where are they? Why are they releasing a second book? Let's dive right into it.
Right now, people just aren't really playing them too much. Don't know why. Well, I do know why. We just faced a year-long lockdown that people couldn't play games. So people weren't experimenting with new armies because how can you buy a new army when your local game store is closed?
Right.
Burp. The main ways that people run them, there's two divergent lists. Two different versions. Squishy, stonework. It's kind of neat. I play the squishier ones. If he played, he'd play the stonework ones.
Really?
That's what you said.
Oh.
With the stone guard.
Gotcha. But implying that it's like not as squishy.
Yeah, it's not nearly as squishy. 4-up with potential rerolls. They just have a little bit of accoutrement here and there to keep them alive and healthy.
What the f would you not play that then?
If you were to build up an army, would you run Teclis?
Not really.
No.
I don't think that was the right answer, but I wouldn't.
Why?
I've had a hard time investing X amount of points into one model for probably the last year and a half.
Yeah.
It's never worked out when I build lists that hinge on one model / unit that if it dies, my army crumbles. Not a big fan of that.
Yeah, I mean, at 660 points, if you lose him in a 2K game, that's over a fourth of your army.
Right. Don't get me wrong. He's sexy AF. I'm talking about that, not that. But that's also a secondary factor to me personally, is I love centerpiece models.
I like him.
Yeah.
I play with him every now and then. I'm not going to say that I'm dead set on running him in every list, but right now he's just a points filler.
Yeah.
Until I get more models.
I like his casting. I like pretty much everything on his stat profile. It's, for me, in the hobby, for my own interests, yes, the model itself contributes to my decision making, but when it comes to competitive play, of course it does not. I would play I couldn't play the ugliest model ever and still be okay with that win. He's just so expensive.
Yeah, but he's a beast. He's the penultimate, he is the god of magic. And that lets you just have complete dominance over that phase, which can be extremely helpful. He can free dispel an endless spell. Doesn't consume a casting from him. He just, poof, that's gone. So really, it comes down to how good is Teclis really?
He auto-casts one spell if you so choose, right?
That cannot be unbound.
Cannot be unbound.
They're cast automatically, no dice roll required, at 10, value of 10.
And that's kind of one of my problems with Teclis is he's phenomenal if you're trying to guarantee 2 spells, but not for this amount of points. I'm pretty sure Nagash outcasts him. Plus
Maybe.
2s or plus 3s?
Yeah, but he doesn't outdispel him.
It was more consistent.
True.
Consistency is key for me, but that's why.
Maybe we should run that matchup sometime, because I have both the models.
Oh, I'd be down for it.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
I could loan you an undead army and just see.
Oh, I don't play death.
Okay, I could loan you Teclis.
Yes.
Let me get a see. So how good is Teclis? 50-50. Some people like him, some people don't. There is lots of reasons to run him. There's lots of reasons not to run him. It's kind of up to you to decide, which I know is a cop-out, but it really fits into what is your playstyle like.
Bottom line is, he's not an auto-take.
He's not, and that's kind of cool because that means there's balance in the Force. This is the way.
Wow. You don't even watch Mandalorian.
Nope, never seen it once. So, why aren't you playing them? Why aren't you playing them?
I don't even know. I bought like the box sets,
Yeah, a couple of them.
plural. What distracted me? So many other things rather than painting the dainty elves, which I love painting, don't get me wrong. And I wasn't quite sure how to build the stone cards.
So why aren't you guys playing them? I'm actually honestly interested. Comment below or post on the Facebook. Or if you are playing them, what are you running and why?
I'm consistently seeing the same variety of units and the same build outs over and over and over again. Granted, there aren't tournament scenes happening right now. It's just repetitive though.
Max Cathallars and some units to support them.
Sentinels,
Sometimes
Dawn Riders.
not very often.
Yeah. I don't know, it's just kind of vanilla.
It is. And that's kind of high elves though.
Right.
Back in the day, you had your White Lions and you had your Sword Masters, and you called it a day. Like, you didn't really support them too much other than with Teclis and Tyrion, and they were doing the Pillar of Flame. They'd fly high, cast the pillar down. That was the army, and that was every game. Hope you like White Lions, because that's what you're playing. We have a little more variety because of that divergent army list, but we're still not seeing people play them too often.
It could just be that. It could just be timing. I'm not sure. But the activity's not as strong, or at least the presence of Lumineth in the current meta has just not been strong at all. Not only from the tournament scene, but just activity in general. It's just odd to me. It's a gorgeous looking army. You can play it in a variety of ways. I don't know.
So I won my last escalation game with Lumineth, my first one, playing against Fire Slayers.
Nice.
He looked angrily at my archers for one unit of my archers, and they died. He didn't really, he just kind of breezed against them, and they fell apart.
Mm.
But I took it down. I got 3 glory points. I was able just to negotiate the board a little bit better, and a lot of arrows.
Because of Dawn Riders?
I didn't run them.
Oh.
Archers, spearmen.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty solid for a 500-point list when you don't require a leader.
Cathallar, or Cathallars. Cathallars? Cathadors.
Catheter?
Catheters.
Catheter.
Catheter.
Yeah, you showed up your pee hole.
People seem to be loving running them, and I can see why. She's amazing on the tabletop. And why would you run 2? Because double the buffs. But when it comes to the Light of Eltharion, he's amazing.
He's got such a good profile.
I'm not seeing him in list, though.
No. So he's a 3-up save that cannot be modified in any way. He has 6 attacks in total, 4 with the sword, 2 with his dagger. His sword attacks deal mortal wounds. He has a shooting attack that deals mortal wounds. He has 7 wounds himself with halved damage. So that effectively makes him about 10 wounds.
And he's what, like 220 in points?
220.
And he has a free mortal wound arrow shooting shot.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's an 18-inch range. On a 1, it does nothing.
Right.
On 2 to 4, does D3 mortal wounds. And I think on a 5 to 6, it does D6.
Right.
That's scary.
No.
Just for a free attack.
I wouldn't sleep on him. And one might ask the question of how does he synergize? Does he buff any other units? Yeah. Morale.
Yeah.
Command ability.
Giving him bravery 10 in a bubble.
Yep.
on a very low bravery army. They have a base bravery of 6 for a lot of their units.
Because I said this to you, I was like, so the Lumineth, they're kind of doing their own thing until they're inspired. Right. Until they have a reason to fight and not flee. That's when they'll pop off and stay on the board.
So the big name Moo Cow was Avelaner.
Everland Sunset.
Everland Sunset. Mm. Yep, big yellow Moo Cow. Mm. He's pretty good. Has a robust number of attacks. Mm-hmm. He gives out free command abilities every turn without spending command point. He's got some decent little area buffs. And he just goes in and just starts beating down with his double hammers. Just overall pretty good unit. Points cost 340.
But where does he fit? Battalion-wise, but where does he fit?
Into the Stone Guard. Probably, in my book, better than Teclis in a number of ways. But mostly it comes down to points.
Yeah, I remember Lumineth getting a lot of pushback from just the community about how they're cows or like mountain goats, whatever it might be. I don't mind it. I don't see it.
I think he's a bad model, man.
Everything looks cool. I mean, if we're gonna fault anything about him, maybe the mountain, but I mean, he's the mountain king, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't get it.
New models. New book. Why? Why not make a supplement or just roll it into the Broken Realms?
And this is the WTF moment, folks. Amazing new models. I celebrate it. The repeater bolt throwers back in the fantasy days.
Yeah.
Loved it. That's what made High Elves to me, piercing through ranks and things. And then the terrain piece, my goodness.
So well designed.
But at the end of the day, we have another book. And it's been 1 year.
Yeah.
Since lockdown.
Is this a cash grab?
I don't know.
It feels like a cash grab.
I feel like I'm missing something, so we're going to implore you guys to come up with some theories as to why.
Why? So soon.
I haven't even cracked my book open to play them yet.
Right.
Because of lockdown.
I'm so glad I got the limited edition out of the box.
Too. Right?
Oh, that fit.
You have 2 or 3.
Yep.
I have 2.
Yep. Feels great.
So now we have all, if you're a Lumineth player, you have bought the release book. Now you get the second book. And then also, don't forget to purchase the next up-and-coming Broken Realms book.
Right.
But I guess you won't need the first book in order to play. It's just replaced. I don't know. This is just really out of character. GW's been on a really good grind with longevity of battletomes lasting on average 2 to 3 years. WTF?
It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I've been around for a long time. This one confuses the hell out of me. It's almost as bad as the Wood Elf book that dropped in 8th edition fantasy before the world blew up and became AOS. The time frame was very short to where a lot of Wood Elf players, they quit. They felt betrayed as hell.
I definitely dropped off around like 3rd or 4th edition for Wood Elves, but yeah, that's
rough.
That's crazy.
To have your book for less than 5-6 months
during a pandemic.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So I feel for the Wood Elf players from back in the day, because that's how I feel right now.
Do you think this might be like a Control-Z? Like, oops, messed up, didn't include all these units that we have the sculpts for. I don't know, man. I really dislike talking poorly about the company that makes literally my hobby. I just don't get this one. So enlighten me if you might know.
Yeah, maybe you have some inside information. Maybe you're part of the company. Tell us. Like, why?
In giving benefit of the doubt, I'm just assuming that this one, just the timeline didn't match up. Because what has worked in our favors given pandemic timelines? Nothing.
Why not have a Dark Elf book, like a Privateer book? You're putting resources into development and stuff on an army that's already been released and produced. Throw them into a supplement, Broken Realms, great. And then give us our Scourge Privateer book that people have been wanting. Give us a mixed company book that has another form, kind of like Cities of Sigmar, but with Dogs of War mercenaries that can go to anybody.
If you're as confused as us, tell us. If you know something we don't, tell us. I want some answers personally.
Yeah.
We'd love to do a how to play Lumineth Realm Lords video, which we actually had in queue probably for this episode. But then this all happened.
Yeah.
So I guess you'll have to wait. And,
Yep.
and we just figured out the army.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got my combos together. I had some pretty broken little interactions. I'm happy with where they're at. I don't honestly need anything else. So that means completed,
Right.
happy, done.
So we'll see you in 6 months on the how to play Lumineth Realm Lords. It's okay. It's keeping us on our toes, I guess. So we will expedite Slanesh and Daughters of Cain, assuming shipping complies with the delivery schedule.
Still waiting on my books.
Right. On that note, keep fighting for what you think is right, as in GW stop releasing books and discontinuing books after a year. Keep slaying that meta.
Like, comment, share, subscribe.
Until next time.